What's up guys, TechPhysics, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a comparison between the iPod Touch 4th generation and the iPod Touch 5th generation. So when it comes to these two devices, the biggest difference is the design. As you can see, the iPod Touch 5th generation has a bigger display, which is a 4.8-inch Retina display, and the iPod Touch 4th generation only has a 3.5-inch Retina display. On the back, you can tell that the iPod Touch 5th generation has a more black aluminum type of material, and the iPod Touch 4th generation has a kind of plastically aluminum like mirror type design on the back. They both have cameras on the back, but the 4th generation iPod Touch has a VGA camera, and the 5th generation has a 5 megapixel 1080p camera that has a flash, and also they both have microphones right next to the camera on the back. That's the big one. Another big differences. Another big difference between the two devices is that the 5th generation has a loop when the 4th generation does not. Also, another difference is the bottom, where you can see that the 4th generation has the 30-pin dock connector when the 5th generation has the lightning connector. They both have the speakers on the bottom and have headphone jacks, but they're on opposite sides. When it comes to the front of the devices, you can see a big difference in the screen, like I said before, but they both have front-facing cameras, but the front-facing camera on the iPod Touch is very poor quality of VGA also. But the 5th generation iPod Touch has a 720p HD front-facing camera for awesome video with all types of stuff, like video chatting and selfies, all types of stuff like that. So right now I'm going to take off all the Task Manager applications real quick. Since another big difference, as you can tell already from the beginning of this, is that these two devices are running different OSs, or different versions of an OS. When the iPod 5th generation has iOS 7, and the 4th generation only has iOS 6.1.3 because it can't go to iOS 7. So that's another big difference between the two. Another difference is the iPod Touch 5th generation has Siri, and the 4th generation has voice control. So now let's open up some applications to see how different the speed difference between the two, because the iPod Touch 4th generation has the A4 processor, which is only a single core processor. It also has 512 megabytes of RAM, which is only half a gig, when the iPod Touch 5th generation also has that much gigs of RAM. So let's try to press these at the same time and see which one launches first. So as you can see, the 5th generation has won that battle. So now let's open up the camera apps at the same time. That was kind of a tie. So now let's power these two devices off at the same exact time. Wait, I wasn't even pressing the power button, was I? Okay, now both powering off, and the 4th generation actually won. Well, that's a surprise. It was only powering them off, but I guess the 5th generation has to power off more because it has the more heavy built software, which is iOS 7. While these are powering off, another big difference that I can tell between these two devices is that the iPod Touch 5th generation is a lot thinner. Now let's power these two back on and see which one powers on first. Okay. Powering on. And the winner is going to be what? Looks like the iPod Touch 5th generation did win that. So there's that. You can see that when powering on, the iPod Touch 1, but when powering off, the iPod Touch 4th generation 1. So now let's open another application, like Vine. The winner, 5th generation iPod, and they're both on the same internet, so that's not a problem there. So now let's open up the front-facing cameras on both of these devices so I can show you the difference between them, which is very substantial. You can't really see it on the camera, but the iPod Touch 5th generation is a lot more brighter, and you can definitely see a lot more in the photo than the 4th generation. So now I'm going to show you on the devices where we can see another big difference between the two devices. So in the front, they both have power buttons, but the power button is more curved on the iPod Touch, like curved with the design of its unibody. So it's kind of harder to press on it when it's laid down than it is compared to iPod Touch. You can easily touch it because it is just like how the iPhone 5 is, just like squared on top of here. So it's easier to power on when it's on its back. Then the iPod Touch 4th generation is. You kind of gotta put your finger under it to do it. They both have the volume rockers on this side, which is another, just like how the power button is kind of hard to reach, the volume button is also kind of hard to reach with the iPod Touch 4th generation. And then they both have nothing on this side here. And that's pretty much for the comparison. As you can see, the iPod Touch 5th generation basically beats the 4th generation in every aspect, except powering off. Because of iOS 6, most likely that's probably the biggest reason why. But if you're in the market for a new iPod Touch, I would definitely go up with the iPod Touch 5th generation because it does have all around better specifications, better features, better everything, and it's faster. And can get iOS 7, unlike the iPod Touch 4th generation, because this can't be updated ever again. But this can be. So I would get this. You can get the newest software on this device when you can't get it on this, so why wouldn't you get this? But if you can wait, I would wait for the 6th generation. It's probably going to come out with the iPhone 6, but it is a year, but still, I would try to wait. But if you don't want to wait, then I would get the 5th generation. That's pretty much it for this video. Make sure to like it, share it on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Comment down below if you think I should do a full review of the 5th generation, because I never did that video yet. I did first impressions, but that's all I did. So that's pretty much it for this video. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.